Okay, this is Will Tchakirides interviewing Sheila Lee for the HBCU Radio Preservation Project. It is 10:12 a.m. on December 14th, and this interview is being recorded at the library at Elizabeth City State University in North Carolina. Okay, Sheila, may I call you Sheila for this interview?
Yes.
If you don't mind, please state your full name and tell us your current role at the WRVS station here.
My name is Sheila Lee. I am currently the on-air personality as well as the gospel media director right now, and I love it. I've been there for 25 years.
I want to begin with your early life. So please tell me when and where you were born and a little bit about the people who raised you.
Okay. I was born in Suffolk, Virginia, February 16th, 1958. I'm very, very young at heart, always, and just grateful to be the age that I am. And not only that, but I'm excited because I was blessed to come and be a young person or be in the family situation when most of the families had a mother and a father. So I'm very, very grateful that I'm very mindful of the fact that how it structured me to have my father and my mother in the same household.
And tell me your parents' names and a little bit about them and what they did for a living.
Okay. My father's name was Isaac Lee Kearney. He was an aircraft mechanic with the base, and I think it was the naval base in Norfolk. And he also had his own business. He was an entrepreneur as well, wherein he, I want to say detailed cars, but not just detail, it was as far as painting them. So I've actually sanded down the cars with him and, put the tape on there so that he could actually spray paint the cars. So we kind of did that. That was what he did on the side with his business. And also, it was exciting because he always provided for us. So there was never a time of lack that I know of. If they did, my parents hid it well. So that was a blessing for me. So I don't remember lack. I do remember that they worked hard. And my mother was an accountant for the Chesapeake Public School System in Chesapeake, Virginia. And also before, that was her latter year career. She's retired now. And before that, she actually substituted in the school system as well as taught some of the classes.
And did you have any siblings growing up?
Yes, I had my brother, Frederick Kearney. And my brother and I were very, very close. And it was a blessing to have a sibling. He inspires me much because he has gone on to have his own business. He actually has done security business. He's worked in some private situations with government type things, and also has his own business as far as, how can I say this, real estate. That's the easy way, different real estate ventures. So he's a big, big mentor for me.
Okay. Now, I know that you're the gospel media coordinator at WRVS. I want to talk a little bit about the influence of the church growing up. Tell me where you attended church, what denomination, and what church life was like and how you participated.
Well, it was a lot of fun for me. One of the things I loved doing, I remember accepting Jesus Christ as Lord and Savior of my life at 6 years old. I remember working in the church from that point on, beginning there. I remember the Sunbeam usher board, like Sunbeam. That was so exciting to be a part of that. I enjoyed it, so I learned how to usher. I love singing, have always loved singing. In fact, as a memory, as we're talking about this, when I was growing up, my mom would always come in the room every morning and sing, "Rise, shine, give God the glory." Rise, shine, give God the glory. And that was how I got up for all of my life when I was at home. So you couldn't just pull the covers over and say, "Okay, Mom, no. She was going to come in, she was going to sing, she was going to get you up." So I've always known joy, I guess I can say, from the beginning. But my mom is just a real jewel. And talking about the church, I can get back to that. I did enjoy ushering, singing. I started off singing with the youth choir. Then I went on to do like your young adult. But my favorite was the senior choir for some reason. But anyway, that was how it ran for me, the course of being involved in church. And also I was like the church secretary. for the Sunday school. I was a Sunday school teacher. So I would say New Mount Olive Baptist Church in Chesapeake, Virginia really gave me the foundation of what it was like to work in church.
Let's talk a little bit about gospel. Did you first hear gospel in the church? And talk about how excited you were when you first heard it, what you felt, and what some of your early gospel influences were.
Always have loved gospel music because, like I said, I love to sing. I love to sing about Jesus. That's just it in a nutshell. Anything that's talking about how good he is, what he's done for you, it just always encouraged me. And that's what I think music should do. It should encourage you. And exciting times. Some of my favorites, as I was talking about, one of them is Erica Campbell. And of course, she's one of the newer artists. However, she has been around a while, Erica and Tina Campbell. And with Erica, she's just a mentor. She's a protege for me because I've watched her in music. I've watched her and her sister. I've watched her and her husband, the things that they have gone through, the books she has written, and also just the fact of how rooted and grounded they are in Christ as pastors. And then one from way, way back, I think it would probably be Shirley Caesar. That gospel flavor.
I think I heard you, I listened to your program this morning, and I think I heard you play her.
Uh-huh. Yes, a Christmas favorite, yes. And I love Christmas music.
So tell me how the church and singing and choir and gospel shaped your decision to enter radio. Maybe you heard radio for the first time as a young person and were excited and said, I want to do that. But tell me about how you first heard radio and how the church and gospel shaped that.
Okay, as far as radio is concerned, I remember being very small, maybe 6 or 8 years old, and I will not forget the station WPCE 1400. And it was out of Virginia, Norfolk, Virginia area at the time. And Leola Dyson was the on-air personality. And I loved listening to her when she would say, good morning. And she would get up there and she would give the announcement. She was also the church clerk for the church that we attended at the time. So she was my first real mentor as far as being on radio. And so I would just mimic it. I would, play like it when I was little, play like I had a microphone in my hand and good morning, you're listening to. And, the things that I do now, I remember doing them just for fun as a kid. So that was a big thing in my life because I feel like it was kind of destined. As far as singing was concerned, I was actually in the Miss Great Ridge pageant. My senior year, I got second runner-up. So just that whole realm, and and you were talking about gospel. Knowing God means everything to me. That's my personal preference, and it shaped me. It helped me to, when I was totally out of it, when things weren't going right, to have a good foundation to be able to pull from the ministry. As far as the Word of God, the ministry as far as song, because that's what singing is to me. It's a ministry. And even with what I do now, I look at it as a ministry because people's lives can be changed with music. No matter what genre of music it is, people's lives are changed. And that's what I love doing.
We'll come back to radio. I just want to circle back briefly and make sure I record for the record where you grew up and what that place or those places were like. Did you always live in Virginia? What towns did you live in when you were growing up?
When I was growing up, it was always Virginia. So it started off in Suffolk, Virginia. That was where I was born. And that was February 16th in 1958. I'm excited to be a young 65 and just blessed. That was where it all began. Then, like I said, I was blessed because I had a mother and a father, so that meant a lot. But where we actually grew up in was in in Norfolk, Virginia, and Lambert's Point area was the name of the area we lived in. But it was exciting. I remember getting ready to go to school. I loved school. I was one of those people that you didn't have to make me get up and go to school. I was ready to go. In fact, if you said go, let's go. I was ready. And school was a lot of fun. I remember my second grade teacher, Miss Coker, Lillian Coker. She was just instrumental in good foundation as far as, when I went to school, we did a book called Manners. And it taught you how to say thank you. It taught you to be nice, to say nice things, to respect other people. I don't know, we might need to bring them books back. But anyway, I was grateful to have been under her. She was one of the teachers that I will forever remember. And she was like my second grade teacher, first grade actually.
Can you tell me a little bit of what the demographics were like in the towns and the places you grew up, Norfolk? And who was in the community? Who were the people in the community?
Okay, I guess when you say demographics or people, we're talking about African Americans, all right? And our whole community, there wasn't a mixed community at the time when I was growing up in 1958 and 68 and that kind of thing. But I do know that I was with the first group of students to be bused to Great Bridge High School.
Tell me about that experience.
Now, that was interesting. I am grateful because I don't know any color. I mean, yes, it exists, and I know all racism, I know all those things that really do exist in life, but I've been blessed over the years that even though all that has been there, I have not been directly affected as some people have that I know of, and they tell their stories. I was just the one that got along with everybody. I was just the one, you treat me right, I'm gonna treat you right. The golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I mean, early in life, that was what was told to me. So even though I know, as a grown-up now, that there are people who are prejudiced, and there are black people that are prejudiced, there are white people that are prejudiced, all people, there's no boundary to say one or the other is more. It's just, it happens, and it's real. But as far as the demographics, I remember that we were blessed in our neighborhood. We had the family culture. It used to be a time where everybody could get your child. If you messed up in school, you did something you weren't supposed to do, that community raised you. So we had that kind of thing going on because before you got home, everybody knew what you had done, and you just knew your parents were going to discipline you. And maybe some people say, well, that was harsh discipline, whatever, but they were disciplined. We didn't have a lot of people doing things they didn't have any business because you knew that the village that was raising you, they were going to be there to help you as well as discipline you.
Okay, tell me a little bit more about where you went to school, if you attended college,
yes,
where you studied broadcasting.
Yeah, I actually went to Great Bridge High School in Chesapeake, Virginia, and as I said, I was excited to be a part of the Miss Great Bridge pageant. I got second runner-up, and I sang I Gotta Be Me, so I haven't always done all gospel. None of us have, I know that. But it was exciting times for Great Bridge High School. I was a cheerleader, and I was glad I wasn't the head cheerleader because I really didn't know a lot about the sport, but I loved cheering. So the head cheerleader kept us in focus and made sure that if it was a touchdown that you were saying the right cheer for touchdowns. But yeah, I was actually a varsity cheerleader and a junior varsity cheerleader. So even now, I like to cheer. I mean, I probably even at some point could actually be one of the mentors for a cheering group. I love it that much. And so that was in high school. For college, I went to a fashion college in Atlanta, Georgia, Botter Fashion College in Atlanta, Georgia. It was where you could go for 1 year and get your degree. So that's what I did. So I have a degree in fashion merchandising. I did not go to school for broadcasting. I am one of those who is a unique individual, and I call it the gifting that God gave me and the blessings that God bestowed upon me. Because I did radio for church in Norfolk, Virginia, where I did their intro and their outro, and I loved it. So from that point on, I came to Elizabeth City when I got married, and I've been married for 25 years. And when I came to the radio station as a volunteer, when I started then, it was a blessing because I was able to come on as a volunteer part-time. And I didn't have any experience. They trained me. Dorothy Keith was the young lady who trained me at that time, and she was the instrumental. Everything that I know is because of her. And I'm grateful that she was in my life because as far as experience, it was just a natural gift to me. I don't know if you've ever been around somebody. It's like they don't try hard. It just flows. That was me. I didn't go to school for it. I had trained because I was in prose reading in high school. So that did give me training of how to speak clearly, how to make sure you're not monotone, to kind of keep everybody interested by how you used your voice. And I've been blessed, like I said, it's a gift from God to have the voice that I have. I believe that I have that $1 million, billion-dollar voice, actually. And I know that it encourages people, and that's my goal. Each and every morning when I get up and when I get on the radio, I'm happy, and I want them to be happy. I want them to have a bright spot in their life. And if it means listening to Morning Joy, I'm grateful, and I want to make sure that the music is just right, the flow, the mix, to make sure that they have a good feeling when it's over, that they're ready for tomorrow. So I hope that answered pretty much. Okay.
And well, let's circle back to Atlanta.
Okay.
You were there for a year. When was that, and what sticks out in your memory about that time in Atlanta?
At Barter Fashion College, I really went because I wanted to be a model. And I also went because I wanted to design clothes. Oscar De La Renta was one of my favorite designers. I loved all the clothes he did at that time and everything. And it was a trade school, if you want to call it that. So I learned about sewing, I learned about modeling. It was just, my mom was like, she wanted me to really go to nursing school, but I didn't want to go to nursing school. She wanted me to be a nurse, I didn't want to be a nurse. But I knew that I wanted to do something in retail. So I was in retail actually for, I've been in radio for 25, so I was in retail for at least 10 years. I was a manager of a maternity store, it used to be called Mother Care. I was out of the UK. I worked at the time, Davison's and Tallheimers, if anyone has been in this kind of taking way, way, way back. But anyway, as branch operations managers, I've been sales managers. I've done everything in retail pretty much that you can do. And then I worked at a bank. I just love serving people. I've been the branch operations manager. I've been new accounts. I did a little bit of everything in all of my years. But my favorite is radio.
And that was roughly the mid to late 70s?
Right.
At that time. What is your husband's name, and where did you meet your husband?
Oh, no, that's a story. I'm going to give you the quickie of that one. Pastor Robert E. Lee is my husband. At the time we got married, he was not pastoring, he was Minister Robert Lee. And we met at his mother's funeral. A friend of ours gave him my number and told him, I think this would be somebody that, you might like to talk to, get to know, whatever. So he called, and we talked on the phone for like 2 months before we ever saw each other. And I saw him at his mother's homegoing service for the first time. So that was how we met. And he wasn't what I wanted, and I wasn't what he wanted, but we were what God wanted for us. So that's a short of it. He's from Elizabeth City. He's from right here in Elizabeth City. He's been here all his life. And like I said, he is pastoring now. The name of our church is Powerhouse Church of Redemption for 25 years, and I pastor along with him. But that was how we met. So we have some really unusual situations. And I actually, before meeting him, was married and was in an abusive relationship. So I minister to a part of the ministry that God has given me is to be able to minister to those who have been abused. In fact, I'm going to be doing more of that as well.
Thank you. You and your husband, what do you like to do for fun? What kind of dates did you go on? What, outside of the church,
right.
What gives you life?
He loves to fish. He is a fisherman. For 25 years, I was excited that I knew he loved me because fishing was at the top. It was God, me, and then fishing. And I was really happy about that order. But yes, he loves to fish. He can speckled trout, brim, you just name it. He knows the seasons. He knows them. So he loves to fish. And just recently, believe it or not, I've started to fish with him. So that's been exciting. We like to travel. We went to Alaska for our 25th wedding anniversary this past June.
Okay.
And we also, in November, were blessed to go to Bermuda, to Polk, this is the West, get me right, British Virgin Island. We went to there. That was exciting. And then we also ended up in San Juan, Puerto Rico to fly back out. So we love to travel. If you're asking what we like to do, we love to travel. We love our grandchildren. Oh, my goodness. Anything that they have going on, we try to make time and go. We have two grandsons in Raleigh, and that's from our son Robert E. Lee and his wife, John Lee, and it's Ian and Jackson Lee, so two boys, two grandsons. And then my son Joseph has a boy and a girl, Parker, and also Joey, his sister. She'll be 13 this month, and Parker's already 4, but he thinks he's 40. My son Joseph is married to Passion Stuyvesant. So we love our family. We're very family oriented. So you said, what do? We hop in the car and we go 3 hours away to Raleigh for a football game. We hop in the car and we go an hour away to Virginia so that we can go to a band recital or a band concert that Joey's having. Or when she was little, if it was soccer. We're very involved in our family as far as the children and grandchildren.
So Robert and Joseph, any other kids?
No, just the two.
Okay, WRVS. If you can, tell me what year you started at the station.
Yes, 1998. Mm-hmm.
So not around the time you got married as well.
Yes, in fact, that is true. We got married in June, and it was in September, I believe, when I actually first started there. I think my actual annual date ended up being in April. But anyway, I had a young lady that I told, because I had been doing the intro and outro for a church back in Virginia on the radio, and I liked it. A friend that was actually a family member, Bob had introduced me to, and I told her I would really love to work at the radio station. So she introduced me to, at that time, Greg Sampson, who is now deceased, but he was the first person I met at WRVS. And he was very instrumental in my training and helping me to get on board, and I feel like my application. And I volunteered, I believe it was probably for about 11 years. Mm-hmm. And I volunteered, then I became part-time, and now I have been full-time. So I just kind of went right up. But it was really a blessing, because I think everybody should be able to serve. Because when you do something that you love, yes, you need to get paid for it, but it really doesn't matter. As far as, you know what I'm saying? What I felt like, it was a blessing to be able to do something that I loved as a volunteer until I could get paid for it. I guess that's the best way to say it, because you definitely want to get paid.
Yes. Tell me a little bit about the station you found when you started volunteering there. What was the programming like? Did they have gospel already? What did you hear on the station at that time?
Mm-hmm. Gospel was already there. In fact, when the station became a station, gospel was a part of it, and Dorothy Keith was there.
Tell me about Dorothy.
Dorothy was phenomenal. She was a lot of fun, just a bundle of joy. She knew how to train you in a way that was receptive. You know, sometimes people don't know how to train, but she was an excellent trainer. And not only that, but she tells the story of how that she had just kind of been thrown out there. So she was determined that whoever she came in contact with, that she was going to train them. When I asked her, I won't ever forget, how did I know what to play? There's a lot of music, you know? And she asked me if I was filled with the Holy Spirit. And I said, yes. And she said, well, that's how you know. And then along the way, of course, she taught me the techniques of, you know, your top 10, your top 20, even, you know, looking at who is out new now, and, you know, the things that come along with that. But the basis as a guideline that was what she gave me. And of course, you know, you want to be playing music that's going to encourage people, you know. And then it was a blessing, because along the way I went to the North Carolina Gospel Guild. And it was great because I got a lot of training, more training. But she was my initial person for training, Dorothy Keith. And like I said, she would encourage you. And my thing was, and for anyone who's ever been in radio, that board that you have to learn to run, it can be intimidating. And I was intimidated. So she really helped me to overcome that and to just relax and understand what every button was and why you press that button. I took a lot of notes, and that helped me in that process of learning what to do in the station and on radio.
Thank you. What was the station? All music? Was there any other types of programming?
Yes, yeah. They had R&B. I don't remember all of them, but yes, R&B was a part of it. I can't tell you the full rundown of it because basically I stayed to gospel. But yes, there were other genres. I mean, because like now, of course, we have Afternoon Delight, which is like where Clay Mercer is. We also have our back up. Yes, Afternoon Delight is Clay Mercer. And then, of course, we have our Neo Soul Cafe, which comes on after me. And then we have other programming as well. Something for everybody, really. And then we also have an HD2 station, which is all jazz.
So, in your years volunteering and working at WRVS, do you remember any sort of external events happening that impacted the station? Could be something that could be a natural disaster that happened, could be a major event that happened in the country or in North Carolina. Is there anything that sticks out that maybe the station had to cover or that impacted the station?
COVID-19.
Tell me about that time during COVID.
Yes. Of course, being completely shut down. I think it was in March, and we found out everything was shutting down. I think the whole world found out that everything was shutting down, and everything we had to regroup, and of course wearing the face mask 24/7, and making sure that you wash your hands every time. And as far as the station was concerned, no longer bringing guests in, doing a lot of it remotely. It was an interesting time in life, to say the least. The whole world changed. The music, thank God, was able to continue because Clay was able to program the station and do everything we need to do. And again, but then you don't have your guests coming in. If I had guests, I'd have to do the phone interviews and work from there, that type of situation. I think that it showed all of us, even for church, shutting down for church. No church. I mean, you can't go to the church building. You found out that you could do more than you thought you could do, number one. And we had to find ways to be creative in church as well with WRVS. It was a time, I think, that there was no one exempt from having to change, whether that's the school system, WRVS, our radio station. No, it didn't matter because we were all forced to find alternative ways to sustain.
It sounds like the community took it really seriously, and that's great. So you mentioned Dorothy. Are there any other mentors or folks at the station who you want to call out for helping to shape your time there and your career? We've mentioned some of them, but is there anyone I'm missing?
Talbert Gray.
Tell me about them.
Talbert was one of the general managers during the time that I've been there. And he always encouraged all of the on-air staff and everyone that was there that they were worth something, that, you were somebody. Somebody would want to listen to you. He wasn't, as with Melba, she's very encouraging. Anything that he could do to help you do what you were doing better, he made sure he showed you, he found you, you learned about it. He put you where you needed to be, or and I can just say thank you to him, yes, because he was very instrumental in me understanding the worth of what I did, and that means a lot. And like I said, with Melba, she's a jewel. I can truly say that those would be the three people during the 25 years that I've been there that have been the most influential and the most helpful to make sure that I had everything I needed if there was a question or something with programming or something I didn't know. I mean, I just want to share this real quick. I came from the spot in being in radio that we picked up the phone and called people. This email, all the social networking now, and all the things that have evolved. Let's even back up. I was there when we were doing cassette tapes. I was there 25 years ago when you had the LP, the 45. I mean, I look at it, and there's been a transformation along the way from 25 years. So that's really something to think about. But I can truly say they were there. Because I was like, Mel was like, well, just send me an email. I'm like, email? Can't I just pick up the phone? Well, I need you to send an email. Of course, it was the flow of where we're going now. And, even now with texting. I mean, let's just look at it. All the things that we can now text somebody while you're on the radio and say, hey, don't forget to do this. Did you already do that? Oh, I meant to tell you, it's just a whole different way of communication. And if you're from my era, 25 years ago to now, you really had to get in the flow. You had to pick up. You had to see what's new, to be able to post on Morning Joy's Facebook page. All those things are new. I mean, we're talking about within the last 5 to 10 years, evolving. And I know we're going to be evolving more. So it wasn't just, a lot of people think, oh, you just get on the radio and you just talk. Oh, no. I produce a show daily, and there's no one else there but me. So I've got to be creative. I've got to find out what's going on. I've got to make sure that my show encourages. It's a lot involved. And I'm glad that I've had the opportunity, in a sense, to be it all, if I can say it that way. Every area that's been touched, I've been able to have a part of it, to learn it, to see what makes it, flow. Why would you play a song? Is this song going to encourage? Does it have radio quality? Does it, what type of program are you going to do there? Okay, if it's Father's Day, are you going to do a special on fathers? And if so, are you going to do fathers that are pastors? Are you going to do fathers that are just in the community? I mean, so I love it, the creativity part. And then get back to Mel and say, hey, this is what I like to do. So.
Thank you. So Morning Joy, tell me when the program began and what the concept of it is. You've discussed much of it already, but tell me in even more detail, like what your day-to-day routine is on mornings when you come in and what do you set out to do?
Oh, I can definitely tell you that. I'm there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and from 6 to 7 is my time to evaluate and pull together what's going to start the program. I'm very impromptu. I'm very comfortable talking to you right now. I love being impromptu. It's a gift. Again, like I said, it's a natural gift. But yes, I would come in, I would see, okay, first of all, during that time, what emails do I have of something that I didn't know about, something that's going on with the school, something that Melba may have sent me. I have Clay Mercer. He makes sure that if there's anything going on with the school as far as a game or if it's a special event, he makes sure that I get that information as well. So I'm pulling from everywhere that I can to get the information so that I can have a different show, because I like it to be fresh, I like it to be fun, and I like for it to be something different that you hear today. Even if you hear some of the same Christmas carols, still, what's going to be built into this program so that you want to listen? And I know if I don't want to listen to it, my God, the listeners don't want to listen to it. So that's kind of the approach that I take. So that's from 6 until 7. 7 o'clock, I go live. So normally I try to do by 7:15, then 7:30, 7:45, and maybe 7:50. That's when I'm trying to come on the air. And I like to treat it just like we're talking right now. That's how I like for my show to feel. I like that feel, that I'm talking right to that listener. And I am. So I love that part of being able to be creative in the mornings. From that point on, of course, we have a program log, which some people may not understand what that is, but the gist of it is the program log is already there for all the music that's going to be played that day. So let's just say if it's going to be playing, Erica Campbell, Feel All Right, but this is not the time that I think we need to play that right now because of whatever was before it or whatever announcement I'm getting ready to make. If I'm getting ready to make an announcement that's revelatory to that song, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm saying, okay, so I got to switch it out. So it's a very interactive job because, like I said, I don't want to say the same thing every time. I want it to be different. I have my basics that I do. And then the other thing is, I think a lot of people don't understand the importance of projecting. Because when you listen to the radio, if you can't hear the person, that's not good. It's radio. If they're not clear in speaking, and I have to practice this because I can get very excited and go, boo, 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 boo. So I try, even when I'm excited, to calm down and take it a little slower. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So from 7 to 11, I'm playing music. I'm doing on-air promotions that are pre-recorded. I'm doing the promotions that I'm doing just for that day. If it's Father's Day, like I said, we're talking to all the fathers. Maybe I've got pastors that are coming on that are giving encouraging word to fathers. Whatever is needed at that time, so that we're engaged with the community and what's going on. I think that's the easiest way to put it.
Thank you. It's 5 days a week?
Yes, Monday through Friday.
And how long has it been on the air? Roughly?
32 years, 35 years.
So you took it over.
Right. Dorothy Keith was there for 18 years.
Got it.
Okay. So after Dorothy Keith, there were some other people maybe in between, but pretty much when she left, I was there in some form. So I was volunteering or something, yeah.
Is it the longest running program at the station? Is it among them?
That I'm not positive of, but it's been there since the beginning. She was the first on-air personality for gospel programming.
If you could describe the program's mission statement in one sentence, what would you say?
One sentence. To be able to get the good news out in song and word.
What would you say is your proudest accomplishment in your time in radio?
Being able to be a journalist among everything else that I do.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I've been blessed to attend several of the Stellar Awards events in Nashville, Tennessee, in Las Vegas. I think those are the two places mostly that I went over the years. So for a public radio station to have an opportunity, to have an invitation to be in the media room with CNN and all the heavy hitters, and to be able to report back or take pictures or to do different promos with the different artists that was winning, that was the most exciting thing that I believe as an accomplishment. And also the good thing was an HBCU station, WRVS, and ECSU were highlighted when I was able to go.
Along that line, can you tell me a little bit about what it means to you to work at an HBCU radio station on an HBCU campus?
I think it's a blessing to have the opportunity to be in that place, meaning there's a lot of places you can work. I'm grateful that ECSU and WRVS would allow me the opportunity to work in that stead. So it gives me honor to be able to, to be able to be a part of what they see, to be able to bring it back to the people who are listening.
I'm glad you mentioned the people who are listening. Tell me about the community that this radio station serves, how you interact with them.
Okay. It is a 41,000 watt station. As far as interacting with them, it can be through contests that we have. It can be through something as simple as recently I've had different listeners come on and give greetings. So that was a way of interacting. Giveaways, we've been giving away. In fact, we're going to be doing another giveaway for Mother's Day, which is coming up, that we're already talking about that. So we give away tickets to different concerts, gospel concerts, anything that's going on in the community. And what I love about what we give back to the community is the community announcements are free. So anything that's going on in their church, in their community, they can send it in, and I get excited to be able to announce it. So that's one way that I can just kind of give to you right off.
Do people ever call into the show? Is it?
Yes, we over the years we've had them where they call in. We had a contest one time during Success Fest. It was a contest between us and another school, and that was a lot of fun. It was positive rivalry, if I want to say that, and fundraising, that kind of thing. But yes, we do have listeners who call in and have called in throughout the 25 years I've been there.
What would you say has been just the most challenging thing about doing this job?
The most challenging? Did I hear that right?
Yes.
Okay. As with everyone else, not enough staff.
Tell me more.
Point blank. You know, being public radio, of course, we're listener supported. And I think I would love to see more people involved in giving to the station. And they're doing better. When I say doing better, we are blessed to have those that give, don't get me wrong. But I think it's a challenge. If there's a challenge, that's where it is. The funding and the staffing. And unfortunately, even when you go to McDonald's right now or any place, I'm going to call it any place you go eat, any restaurant, everybody's got that challenge for staffing.
So economy.
Yes.
What wisdom would you pass on to a new generation of radio workers based on your experience?
I think the first thing I would pass on is the importance of being faithful. You know, it's got to be in your heart. And as I look back over the 25 years, it's in my heart. I love what I do. And when you love what you do, no matter what comes, no matter what goes, whether it's good, whether it's indifferent, whether it's bad, whatever, you're willing to stick it out. You're willing to do your part. That and teamwork. Got to have teamwork.
And Sheila, how do you want to be remembered in this community at this station when you're gone from WRVS?
Miss Morning Joy. Joy. That's me.
That's the
You know,
name
positive,
of
joyful, a reason to get up in the morning.
Okay, here's the opportunity. Is there anything about your life, all that's happened, that you really want to share and put on the public record that I might not have asked about?
Yes.
Talk to me.
Yes. I'm excited because sometimes I don't realize all the things I do, but I love to sing. And I was truly blessed to receive a gospel music video award from Encore. And that was recently. I think it was in October of this year. And I'm excited because I never thought about doing a gospel music video. I have several songs. The name of the one that is the gospel music video is Thank You. And the words are, oh Lord, I just want to say thank you. That's how it starts off. And so many times I just feel like, again, the manners, the books I talked about from, being young, people forget to say, first of all, thank you to God, and to say thank you to others. So this song is super special to me, and they can go to my YouTube channel, and they can actually see it. They can go to YouTube and put in the Sheila, S-H-E-I-L-A, the initial S, Lee, L-E-E, show, and everything will come up. That's the first place they can go. And they need to subscribe because that'll help me out. And then the other thing is my business is encouragement, not just on the radio, but my personal business is encouragement. I have a website that they can go to, S4JW, the word encourage. And that's S4JW, encourage.com. Let me get that out there. And subscribe. I have a new newsletter that just dropped. I'm so excited. And people don't know I do Mary Kay. I mean, man, I'm grateful. I have so many talents, and I'm not hiding them under the bush. I'm just not. And getting ready to, with this next year coming, I'm looking forward to doing a lot of things again. But thank you for asking me. I'd like for everyone that's listening to go to my website, www.s, like in Sheila, the number 4, jwencourage.com, and subscribe. My music is on Spotify.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about your music. Have you recorded many albums?
Just beginning. In fact, sir, 2008 was when it all began with the music. I've done pretty much nothing.
What made you want to do that in 2008?
I was ready, I thought. to go forth, go gung-ho. I had the songs. I have 2 books, sir. One of my books. Yes,
a writer, too?
I'm an author, yes.
Tell me about it.
The book that I have is called Windowhood, Not Widowhood. They can find that on my website. And I did that because, first of all, my husband lost his spouse, and I lost my spouse. So God put us together. That's our story. And I say I have a Cinderella story because of the abuse and everything that I went through in a prior marriage. But I'm excited because this book will encourage you. So many times people don't know what to do. So through my story with my book, Windowhood, W-I-N-D-O-W, Hood, H-O-O-D, not widow, W-I-D-O-W, W-I-D-O-W, Hood. It's an encouragement. Like I said, all I really want to do in life is be an encourager. Let somebody know they can make it. Let them know no matter what they're going through, whether it was abuse, whether somebody died, or especially a spouse, that you can make it. And I had a son at that time. So that's the one book, Windowhood, Not Widowhood. Again, you can find it on my site, as well as Moments to Brighten Your Day. That book was a blessing to me personally because an encourager. If you pick up the book and you need to find out about your friend, and you can go to that page and say, okay, a friend loves us at all time, and it goes on and talks about it. Wow, that's what I needed for today. So those are the 2 things, sir, that I would love if people would help me out. And of course, if they need a praise and worship leader, or if they want me to come and sing the song, "Oh Lord, I just want to say thank you," I'm for it.
And your entrepreneurship with Mary Kay?
Oh, wow. I've used Mary Kay for over 25 years. I love the products. I do. And I've been in and out. I dibble-dabble over the years. I've been a representative, But I actually have that information on my website. Just put it up there. I'm so glad you asked. And cleansing is really my business. I like being able to, do your eyeshadows and all I call it the extensive part, actually doing your makeup. But if you don't have that good foundation, if your skin's not clean and bright and feels good, then you kind of missed it. So I love skincare. But thanks for asking.
It's my pleasure. Anything else that I missed?
I think that's it.
Okay, well, we can conclude the interview there. I really appreciate your time, Sheila, and it's been just great talking with you today.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.